You ever get that feeling, that deep frustration when injustice just seems to, well, win? Or maybe you find yourself questioning leaders, feeling like something fundamental is off, out of course. We've all been there, I think, searching for meaning when things feel chaotic. Today, we're doing a deep dive into an ancient text, a really powerful piece of wisdom that speaks right into those feelings. We're going to crack open Psalm 82. Our mission really is to unpack its message about justice, leadership, and divine accountability, and explore how it connects to our lives today, especially how it can strengthen or trust our relationship with God when the world feels so unpredictable. So picture this, not some quiet meditation, but a dramatic courtroom scene, but maybe not the kind you'd expect. Okay, let's get into this scene. Psalm 82 opens with a truly extraordinary statement. God standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth among the gods. Wow. I mean, it plunges you right into this divine courtroom. The picture here is so vivid, isn't it? God taking his place, not way off somewhere, but right there among powerful figures.
Now, when it says gods, it's generally understood in context to mean earthly rulers, judges, maybe even powerful spiritual beings given authority, not literal other gods. And God isn't just watching, he's confronting them directly. He asked this searing question, how long will you judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked? What an opening, huh?
It is absolutely striking. And what's fascinating, is God deliberately placing himself among them, right in the mix with those holding power. It immediately sets him up as the ultimate judge. It's a reminder, isn't it, that all earthly power, no matter how big it seems, is temporary. It's accountable to him. There's just no escaping that ultimate authority. And this scene, and while it immediately brings up a big question for us.
Yep.
If God's holding court, what's the fundamental duty he expects from leaders? What's the charge, really?
That is the crucial question.
Yeah.
Because the psalm, it doesn't just vaguely say you're unfair. It gets really specific about what true justice looks like, what these leaders should be doing. Verses 3 and 4 give these explicit commands. It paints a picture of righteous leadership. It says, defend the poor and fatherless, do justice to the afflicted and needy, and deliver the poor and needy, rid them out of the hand of the wicked. It's a really powerful, active command, isn't it? It's not just don't do bad stuff. It's about actively protecting the vulnerable, like a job description.
Absolutely. That specificity is key. This isn't just, general fairness. It's a mandate for protective justice. It's about seeking out those who can't fight for themselves, the poor, the orphan, the marginalized, and actively stepping in, making sure they get what's right. And this shows us something fundamental about God's character, right? His deep concern for the most vulnerable. If we align our idea of justice with his, well, that can really reshape how we see things, how we act. It deepens our understanding of God's heart, giving us a clearer picture of the justice he values.
Okay, so we've seen God's courtroom, heard the indictment, got the divine job description for leaders. But what happens when those in power, the ones given this vital duty, just fail, utterly fail to do it? The psalm is pretty stark about the consequences, not just for them, but for everyone. Verses 5 through 7, they give a grim picture. These leaders, it says, know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. This feels like more than just ignorance. It's like a spiritual blindness, maybe a willful refusal to get it, to act justly. And because of this failure, the psalm warns, all the foundations of the earth are out of course. Think about that. The very structure of society, its moral basis is shaken, unstable. It's like the world's framework is crumbling because justice isn't holding it up. And then even though they were called gods, given this authority, they get this blunt reminder of their mortality. But ye shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. That's quite a contrast, isn't it? From being called gods to dying like anyone else.
It truly is a potent warning. And connecting this to the bigger picture, the psalm is saying that corruption, injustice, they aren't just individual failings. They have huge systemic consequences for society. When leaders put their own gain first or play favorites, well, trust just disappears. And the very foundations community, law, morality, they start to crumble. That phrase, foundations out of course, is so insightful. It suggests injustice isn't just a bad outcome. It's actually a force that destabilizes everything, disrupts harmony. It's a timeless warning, really. Human power, even at its highest, is temporary. And it faces a higher judgment. No escape. Understanding this, it really deepens our appreciation for God's intended order, how vital justice is. It builds confidence in his design.
That's a powerful, frankly, sobering thought. Injustice as a foundational threat. So after this heavy indictment, this grim outlook for unjust human rule, the psalm doesn't just leave us there in despair. It pivots. It shifts dramatically to a plea, turning our eyes away from human failure towards the ultimate source of justice. Yeah, the psalmist wraps up in verse 8 with this prayer. It feels like a desperate, hopeful cry. Arise, O God, judge the earth, for thou shalt inherit all nations. It's a direct appeal, isn't it? Asking God to step in, recognizing that real justice, lasting justice, comes from him. not human systems.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating is it doesn't end in despair over human failure. It doesn't just resign itself to injustice. Instead, it points to true, eternal hope, God's ultimate kingship, his everlasting rule. This connects to that profound idea that even when earthly systems fail again and again, there is an ultimate judge, one who will make things right, who will establish his perfect kingdom. It offers such a strong counter-narrative to the despair we can feel when we see so much injustice. It gives a solid foundation for trusting in divine order.
So this ancient wisdom, this intense courtroom drama, it really does resonate today, maybe even more strongly now. So what does this all mean for us, living our lives today? How does understanding this psalm, God as the ultimate judge, his call for justice, how does it specifically strengthen our trust and deepen our relationship with him?
Oh, it's incredibly relevant. It helps in a few key ways, I think. First, think about accountability and leadership. This psalm makes it crystal clear. Whether it's politicians, CEOs, even church leaders, all leaders hold borrowed authority. It's not theirs, absolutely. They will answer for how they used it, especially how they treated the vulnerable. Just knowing that, understanding that deep truth can really strengthen our trust in God. It helps you navigate the frustration, knowing there's an ultimate accountability beyond what we see day to day. Our hope gets anchored in a judge who sees everything and will bring justice, even if it's not immediate in human terms.
That's such a crucial point. Recognizing ultimate authority rests with God, not people. What about the specific call to action?
Right. That call to justice for the marginalized, it's still incredibly urgent. Psalm 82 makes it so clear. Ignoring the poor, the orphan, the oppressed. That's not neutral. It's a massive failure. It goes directly against God's heart. Understanding this really deepens our relationship with God because it aligns our own sense of justice, our compassion with his. When you grasp God's passion for the vulnerable, it kind of compels you, doesn't it, to get involved, to be his hands and feet seeking justice. And that draws us closer to him, to his character, his purpose. It makes faith active, not just passive belief.
And the broader societal impact when leaders fail that duty.
Yeah, that brings us to the third point. Corruption undermines stability. The psalm shows it graphically. Leaders serve themselves, trust disappears, social foundations shake. It's a timeless warning for nations, companies, even families. And it strengthens our trust in God because it gives us a framework, a lens to understand why societies break down sometimes. When we see chaos or injustice, this psalm helps us see the root cause failing to uphold God's standard of justice. And it points our hope in the right direction. It helps us put our ultimate trust in his unchanging principles, not in flawed human systems that, let's face it, often fail. It shows us his way is the only truly stable foundation. So bringing it all together, this ancient wisdom really bolsters our trust in God. It reminds us there's an ultimate, incorruptible judge. When we witness injustice, it can feel overwhelming, right? So disheartening. But Psalm 82 insists true justice will win out in the end. It shifts our focus away from fleeting, often corrupt, human power and onto God's eternal sovereignty. That provides such a solid foundation for trust, especially when earthly systems are failing us. It reminds you that your faith is rooted in a God who champions the vulnerable, who demands righteous judgment. That gives us a clearer understanding of his character, his purpose, and importantly, it invites us to join his work in the world.
Wow. This deep dive into Psalm 82, it's really given us a powerful vision, hasn't it? God is the ultimate judge, demanding justice from those in power and offering this unwavering hope for a world that often feels so out of course. It really is a timeless guide for thinking about leadership, justice, and ultimately where our trust should really lie. So we want to leave you with this question. How will understanding God as the ultimate judge and this divine call for justice, how will that shape your perspective, your view on leadership maybe, or even just your own actions in your community? How might it inspire you to look out for and defend the vulnerable in your own life? And how might doing that strengthen your own trust and relationship with him? We hope this deep dive has given you plenty to think about.